What happens when a cop with a power complex crosses paths with a woman who outranks him in every meaningful way? It all began on a quiet Wednesday night, just past 11 p.m. Toledo, Ohio, was silent. The streets empty save for the occasional shift worker or a solitary vehicle cutting through the night. One of those vehicles was a black government-issued SUV, modest but clean, its windows lightly tinted. Behind the wheel was Lieutenant Colonel Naomi Carter, making her way home from a long base meeting 2 hours south. Naomi had been on the road for over an hour, letting the rhythm of the tires hum under her thoughts. She wasn't speeding. She wasn't weaving. She was simply driving. But Sergeant Thomas Reynolds saw something else. Parked near Reynolds Road, sipping lukewarm coffee and scrolling through his phone in the stillness of his patrol car, Reynolds spotted the unfamiliar SUV and, out of boredom or suspicion, sprang into action. The cruiser's lights lit up the night. Naomi noticed the flashing lights and calmly pulled over. She wasn't alarmed. She'd been trained to remain composed. She rolled her window down halfway and kept her hands visible. When the patrol car door slammed, she caught sight of the approaching officer in her side mirror. Tall, stern, hand hovering near his holster, flashlight slicing through the darkness. He didn't greet her. "License and registration," he barked. "Officer, may I ask why I'm being stopped?" Naomi asked, voice even. Reynolds shined a flashlight directly into her face. "You were drifting between lanes. Didn't signal. Could be DUI." Naomi raised an eyebrow. "I wasn't." "License and registration," he repeated louder. She didn't argue. Slowly, she reached into the glove box and handed over her documents. "That's a government vehicle. I'm a federal employee." He glanced at the ID. "Military?" "Yes." He smirked. "Doesn't mean you're above the law." "I never said I was." His tone grew sharper. "Step out of the vehicle." "On what grounds?" "I've complied. I haven't been drinking." "Are you refusing a lawful order?" "No," she said calmly. "I'm asking for clarification." Reynolds didn't like that. He yanked the door open. Naomi hit record on her phone. "Just so we're clear, this interaction is being documented." He paused at the side of the camera, but didn't back down. Out of the car. She stepped out, her stance steady, not aggressive. Her composure spoke volumes. Something about her presence made Reynolds hesitate, just for a second. Still, he pushed forward, making her walk a line under the cold streetlights. She passed the test flawlessly. He still wrote her a citation, failure to maintain lane. Naomi didn't protest. She accepted the ticket and drove away. But that piece of paper would soon circle back, far from forgotten. Sergeant Reynolds had 15 years on the force. He was known for being tough, a stickler, the kind of cop who didn't back down, didn't apologize. His reputation kept rookies on edge. He liked it that way. He believed the badge gave him final say. Back at the station, he barely mentioned the stop, filed the citation, docked the body cam, and joked in the break room about a woman trying to pull rank. "Flashed a federal ID like I was supposed to salute," he said. Officer Kim looked up. "She military?" "So, she says." Some Fed with an attitude. "What's her name?" "Carter." "Naomi Carter." Kim's expression changed. "Wait, Lieutenant Colonel Carter?" "She lectured at the academy last spring. She's the logistics lead at Fort Wayne. Bronze Star. 2 deployments. She's legit." Reynolds shrugged. "Don't care. On the road, I'm the authority." But that name started to echo in the right places. Naomi Carter filed a formal complaint the next morning. Not just with Internal Affairs, but with the Office of the Inspector General. Her video footage had already reached her legal team and begun quietly circulating through military command. Reynolds didn't know any of this. He carried on as usual, barking orders, stopping cars, assuming he was untouchable, because for years he had been. Complaints had been buried. Supervisors looked the other way. The union protected him. But Naomi wasn't just another motorist. She didn't yell. She didn't argue. She recorded. She documented. She followed protocol and filed at the right time with the right office. The manila envelope on Reynolds' desk marked the beginning of the end. A formal inquiry. Naomi Carter wasn't chasing revenge. She'd served 22 years, 2 tours, countless missions. She didn't flinch easily. But this wasn't just about her. It was about every young soldier she mentored, every black woman talked down to, every quiet injustice swallowed in silence. At Fort Wayne, Naomi sat in her office, staring at the footage on her screen. Her aide, Sergeant Davis, poked his head in. "You good, ma'am?" "No," she replied. "But I'm handling it." She'd already looped in base legal. When asked if she really wanted to take it public, she said, "I'm not looking for headlines. I'm looking for accountability." The footage didn't lie. Her demeanor, calm. Reynolds, confrontational. Her questions, reasonable. His responses, aggressive. Her compliance, unquestionable. His escalation, unwarranted. And so it began. The video moved up the chain. No media leaks yet, but military legal circles were abuzz. The department's legal counsel got involved. Still, Reynolds remained smug, until he was ordered to appear in court. He opened the notice in his car, thinking it was nothing. Instead, he found a formal civil rights complaint, unlawful detainment, intimidation, abuse of authority. Plaintiff, Lieutenant-Colonel Naomi Carter. Reynolds laughed it off, until his captain called him in. "Dan, do you even know who she is?" "Don't care." She got stopped, got mouthy. Now she's mad. She's not just anyone. She's a decorated officer. She's got all on tape. Reynolds tried to dismiss it, but the usual bravado wavered. The department buzzed. He wasn't feared anymore. He was watched. Naomi didn't call press conferences. She met with her legal team. She stayed quiet, meticulous. Her lawyer, Evan Morgan, asked, "You sure you want this public?" "Good. Let it be." She didn't want money. She wanted precedent. A record. Proof that silence wasn't the only option. So when court day came, Naomi arrived in full service uniform. She wanted the jury to see not just the woman who got pulled over, but the soldier, the leader, the servant of her country. Reynolds' smirk died the moment she entered. The courtroom was filled, not with reporters, but with fellow officers, soldiers, civilians. Naomi took the stand. "I was driving home. I was stopped without cause. I complied. I recorded." Her words were direct, unemotional. The jury listened. Then came the footage. Naomi's video, steady. Reynolds' body cam, clipped, defensive. His hand always near his weapon. On cross, Reynolds' lawyer tried to paint him as cautious. Could he have just been concerned for safety? "I was calm. I was sober. I was not a threat." Why record? Because silence doesn't protect. Documentation does. Then Reynolds took the stand. He stiffened. "Why did you ask her to exit the vehicle?" "She seemed evasive." "Did she disobey?" "No." "Did she threaten you?" "No." "Did you know she was a lieutenant colonel?" "Not at the time." "Would it have changed your behavior?" Pause. "Yes." The courtroom absorbed that answer. Not remorse. Just hierarchy. He saw her differently once he knew who she was. That was the problem. 3 days later, the jury returned. Naomi sat still. Reynolds fidgeted. "The jury finds in favor of the plaintiff," the judge announced. A violation of constitutional rights occurred during an unlawful stop and detainment. Damages awarded, $35,000. No claps. No shouts. Just wait. The court forwarded the ruling to the DOJ and the Toledo PD. Reynolds was placed on administrative leave. Outside, Naomi read the notification. "Verdict in your favor. Case closed." Her lawyer said, "You could have asked for more." It was never about money. "Think it'll change anything?" Maybe next time he'll think twice. Back at Fort Wayne, Naomi returned to work. She didn't want praise. She had duties to fulfill. But among her ranks, the message was clear. Respect isn't demanded with volume. It's earned through presence. 2 months later, Naomi stood before new recruits. "How many of you think your uniform earns you respect?" A few hands. "It doesn't. Your choices do." Every day. She paused. Power isn't a shield. It's a weight. Carry it with discipline, or don't carry it at all. They listened, because the quietest voice in the room had just spoken the loudest truth. Let this story be a reminder. Authority without accountability is weakness in disguise. And silence? It's comfort for the guilty, not protection for the righteous.